and welcome to another episode of the Leadership Series sponsored by CIMA. Today we have with us another spectacular guest. We have the Chief Executive Officer of the NDB Capital Holdings, Mr. Senaka Kakiriwaragodage. How are you, Mr. Senaka?
Hi, thank you very much for inviting for this.
So first of all, could you tell us a little bit about your career and what inspired you to get into this field?
Yeah, so I've been an investment banker for longest while, though I started as an IT engineer, software engineer. So halfway through my investment banking career, I moved between investment banking, private equity and back in investment banking, but I would largely define myself as an investment banker.
Yeah. So what potential do you see in Sri Lanka for this industry?
Yeah, so I must say probably we have underachieved so far as a country if you make an honest retrospection, but I think there's a long way to go. I think what we need to do is to take the view that Sri Lanka should be an hub for South Asia. Given the large population in the region, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, 2 billion people, a lot of companies there. So if we could base ourselves as what has become probably Dubai for Africa or Dubai for Middle East or Mauritius for Africa or Singapore for Southeast Asia, if Sri Lanka could become that regional hub for South Asia, I think that is where we would see a real leaps and bounds growth in this field, where international investors, international funds would set up the base here. So that is probably the vision that we all should try to accomplish.
And going back to the first question, what was your actual inspiration for you to join this field?
Okay, I mean, look, not because it's a CIMA event, but let me say this. After school, till you get to university, you have a bit of a breathing space, particularly if you are following the local curriculum, which was the case for me. So you had about 6 to 8 months gap till you get to the university, and most of the time people try to do that extra qualification. And CIMA not was with a lot of thought, I must say, but you just went on with the bandwagon. But while I was pursuing that qualification, I felt greatly in love or in passion with the subjects, the business, the finance. So I thought, look, I think this would be a great long-term prospect for me. And despite me being an IT qualification, being the primary qualification, later I developed a great passion for this. So when I got that opportunity for moving to investment banking, I grabbed it.
As you just said, you also have a background in engineering. So how do you think that helped you in your career in the banking sector?
I would say engineering is a great discipline. I mean, because its orientation is maths, right? And I think most of the fields you need to have good orientation in your numbers, particularly in finance. So I think that sets you a great base. In fact, in other countries, probably your first qualification doesn't really matter. Whether you do medicine, law, even IT, business, so you could have your own independent career. So I think so that gave me a great orientation. But I think nowadays the world is probably converging back on IT, most of the fields. So I would never look at it as a waste. I think it will be a great platform which I could build on even later in my career.
And also there's this common misconception saying that if you study a certain subject, the only field you can go to is that. Example, if you study science, the only field is for science. But you are someone who have gone through many fields. So how could you tell the importance of doing that?
Look, I would not say someone should try to do multiple fields to think that it will get blended somewhere down the line. But I think it could be coincidental. But I think there are a lot of people. Let's say if you take an entrepreneur, you would see a lot of medical professionals starting their own business, which could be a tech platform for medicine. And you could be a lawyer, but you may start a BPO, right? So I think there will be a lot of opportunities for these hybrid applications of multiple fields. So in my case, probably it was coincidental, to be honest, how it happened. But I think maybe it will be difficult to design that you do both these fields. Maybe very rarely someone can really plan it like that. But if you have that, particularly at a senior stage, I think it will be a vital qualification, a vital understanding at least, because the more disciplines you are comfortable with, actually help you to navigate the challenges, particularly at a senior level, more than a junior level.
But basically, do you think it is okay to change pathways or even merge pathways?
I definitely guess so, because at the end I think probably it's important that as an individual you do something that you like to do, not because you started something, right? So I mean, you might find your passion at an early stage or later stage, doesn't really matter. And a lot of people, that's how they start their own business. They would like to go back to do what they like, and it could be farming after all that, which could be a great opportunity as well. So I think you should be open to what you know, what you can do, and what you like as well. And depending on that, I think if the switch makes sense, I think you should be bold enough to do that switch.
And you also served as a board member for CIMA. Could you tell us a little bit about that journey?
Yeah. So I had a relatively short tenure because I think there was a bit of a structural change at CIMA board. They moved from a country board to a regional board. But I spent about 2 years in the board. So I think we did a lot of things in terms of membership services, networking, benefits to students. So I think it was a great opportunity, because we dealt with, or we worked with, a set of board members who are really top corporate professionals. I think it gave you a great grounding on the corporates and the people.
And finally, what advice would you give to students and professionals engaging in management accountancy?
Yeah. So I think management accounting, or probably any field for that matter, is ever evolving. Particularly these days, I think you will see a lot of digitization coming into the field. So I think it's important that you have the multifaceted skills. I mean, you cannot probably think yourself as a management accountant only. So it's important that you gather the other pieces as you go on, be open to the world and see what is happening, and then respond accordingly.
And that leads to another question. How will the investment banking sector, like including your company, restructure into because of the COVID atmosphere? How do you guys move on from that?
Yeah, look, probably it's a once in a lifetime, not a lifetime event, even once in a generational or 100-year black swan event kind of thing. Because no one of us has experienced pandemics before.
No one has been prepared for it
in our lives, right? Probably it happened 100 years ago. So I think, look, it is a complete black swan event as far as most of the individuals are concerned. So probably world was not ready how to take it up. So now in retrospect we can say, were the lockdowns the way to go? I mean, even in the US they accused of locking it down for prolonged periods. So it had devastating impacts on economy. But one good thing that has come up of that is, most of the companies were looking at how to do things more efficiently. Say take home working for that matter. So a lot of the costs the companies were carrying, I mean, it gave you a fresh opportunity to think from zero based. Do we need these costs? And actually I think once the COVID is over, probably most of the companies would start at a much lower cost base compared to what it was. So I think it was a big eye opener, and it was a forced thing. I mean, you had to do, given your loss of revenue for so long. So, but if the companies are able to come out of it, and then surely it will give you a lot of opportunities and learnings which you can definitely use for much longer time.
I think the pandemic also helped companies experiment new stuff as well.
Absolutely. Look, I think, I mean, look, if you take applications like Zoom, I mean, probably was never heard of. But now I think the need for travel probably has reduced significantly. The time it takes for commuting for meetings. And now I think you just log into an application and you do your meeting, right? And people are getting used to it. So it's enormous efficiency which has brought up to the world.
Thank you so much, Mr. Senaka, and we wish you the very best of luck, and thank you for talking to us.
Pleasure. Thanks again for inviting. All the best for CIMA. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next week with another eminent personality. My name is Amanta Pereira, signing off.